The biggest story coming into this weekend was Benji Flynn's disqualification from the Buffalo race. After being put deep in the field on a restart, he rocketed his way towards the front like he was the main character in a bad racing movie, and he easily took the win. However, during post-race inspection, officials discovered a traction control device installed on Flynn's number 9 car. So Flynn was promptly stripped of the win, which was given to Namimura, who finished second. Several members of Griesberger Racing, which is the team that Flynn drives for, told reporters that they had no involvement in installing that traction control device, that Flynn did it himself. In addition to being stripped of the victory, Flynn was also suspended from this week's race at Watkins Glen. Casey Campbell took the wheel of the 9 car for this event, but she failed to qualify after getting into a couple of incidents. There is no word on whether or not Flynn will be back with that team at the Mosport International Raceway in Canada next week, but I kind of doubt that. Now on to this week's race. The qualifier was, well, a smash fest to say the least. The most notable incident occurred in the very first turn when Derek Dudding in the, 4,968,325 car, plunged into the turn 1 wall without even attempting to turn or slow down. Also, there were reports all weekend of rain on race day and, well, Mother Nature followed through on her threat. This will be the second time in the past 2 seasons that we've had a race run in the rain. Of course, the season opener at Daytona in 2009 was run in the rain. And now, on to the race. Thank you, Earl. Andy Pearson leads the championship by 5 points coming into this race, and he won the pole, which gives him 3 bonus points. His Pearson-Sweeney teammate Lucas Sweeney started on his outside, and they come into turn 1, which has been a real big trouble spot. Everybody gets through clean, except Namimura almost makes contact with Tyson Lautenschlager in the 70. But coming up through the S's, we have our first incident. Legrel gets into Tyson Lautenschlager and goes up into the wall, but thankfully nobody hits him, though he drops back to last. More trouble coming into the bus stop. Several cars are going to go off here. Bobby Porto, Ricky Navarro, Michael Carter, and James West. Kevin Monroe and Harry Enola join in the fun, as well as Anthony Griffith and Joseph Howard. And then further back, you see more cars are in the tire barriers down there. Now let's take a look at how that happened. Looks like Patrick Carroll got a bump from, I think it was Dale Underwood. This takes Carroll, Underwood, Joey and Amy Harrison, and Wesley Savage into those barriers. There were a few more cars that got into this mess. We're riding behind CJ Dejau in the 37. Jared Anderson and DJ Daniels go off, and the 37 clips the 78, collecting Todd Stater. Dejau, of course, is the defending winner of this race, and, well, he hasn't exactly gotten a great start. Coming into the boot, Allie Riggs gives Philip Borland in the 99 a bit of a bump, making them go 3 wide with Sean Donnelly. Borland bounces off of the 08 and gets into the 19 once again, and back into Donnelly, sending the 99 for a spin. And here is your running order at the end of the first lap. Lucas Sweeney is in the lead. Tyson Lautenschlager is in second. Andy Pearson and Brenda Riggs are fighting for a third. Then it is Lance Andrews and Jason Bates fighting for fourth. And you see the rest of the field going by single file. Going into turn 1, Lucas Hunter gets into Antonio Cristani, spinning the 58 around. I believe this is Cristani's first race since Loudon, and in his quest to redeem himself, this is really going to set him back. Evans Motorsports returns to the ARLA Elite Series grid with debutant driver Rybert Scott. Scott is doing a great job so far, running in the 8th position despite facing 2 of the biggest challenges in stock car racing, a road course and rain. More problems for DJ Daniels coming into the boot. Sean Donnelly gets into the back of car 78, turning him into the wall. He bounces back onto the racetrack, and hello, Kevin Monroe. This is going to take car number 78 out of the race. A little while later, here's Rick Tyler in the 555 running further up in the pack. He moves over into the path of Eric Jackson, who turns him into the wall. Jackson goes spinning as well, and Joel Rodriguez in the 56 gets a little piece of that. Tyler would hold up a small group of cars, and Jared Anderson runs into the back of Philip Borland, then gets hit by Leigh Gruel. Namimura is going to give Rybert Scott a bit of a shot coming into the bus stop. Scott in the 33 runs it real wide, gets into the grass, and he's going to go over a bump and spin into the wall. So a great run for Rybert Scott. Suddenly turns a bit sour, but we are still very early in the race. Lucas Sweeney gets held up by Siju Dejao. Tyson Lautenschlager sees an opportunity, but coming into the bus stop, he's got to slow down a lot more than Sweeney does. And then Lautenschlager is going to get freight trained by Lance Andrews, Jason Bates, and Ricky Flush. So instead of gaining the lead, he loses 3 spots. Ricky Flush seems to be frustrated with Dejao holding him up, so he turns the 37 into the wall. And then coming out of the boot, Dejao is going to be turned around by Kurt Walker. You're also going to see Jeb Klinger in the 66 get into the wall, and Scott Morales turns around Allie Riggs. Riggs then gets hit by Jackson, who bounces out in front of Lucas Hunter. And that is going to take Hunter and Jackson out of the race. Let's take another look at it, running from behind Lucas Hunter. Jackson just gets into the wall and bounces in front of the 01. There's really nowhere he could go. Then Ricky Flush runs the last turn a bit wide. Tyson Lautenschlager gets into the back of him, carrying both cars into the inside wall. Flush bounces in front of Andy Pearson, your pole sitter. Then Brenda Riggs runs into him, and here comes Leslie Riggs to run into the 67. And Jeb Klinger joins in the fun as well. He hits the 31. Here we are riding behind Brenda Riggs. There is the accident starting in front of her. She didn't seem to know where the 31 was going. She spins and then gets knocked into the air by her daughter Leslie. There's a bit of a role reversal going on here. When Leslie Riggs crashed at Daytona at the beginning of the season, it was Brenda Riggs that slammed into her. Philip Borland, while battling Scott Morales for position, spins off the course in turn 1. And then Joseph Howard and Michael Carter are going to get together going into turn 2, taking the 17 into the wall, and he goes for a few rolls. Now let's take a break from all of this attrition. By the way, we're not even at lap 10 yet. Here is Bruce Wilkinson running inside the top 10 in Gravity Racing's R&D car. I would like to point out that this is Wilkinson's second start. He finished in the top 5 at Quincy, and now he's in position to put together another stellar run today. Lance Andrews in the 26 is about to lose second to Jason Bates. He gets held up by, I believe that's Amy Harrison in the 102. Jason Bates in the 51 gets around him on the outside to take the second spot, and there is Namimura running fourth. As Earl already mentioned, she was given the win at Buffalo after Benji Flynn failed post-race inspection. However, mechanical problems are going to bite Mura. She breaks down on the back straightaway. The 39 car is going to come to a stop, and Mura will have to be towed to the pits, where she will lose a lap. Back up front, Lance Andrews is going to take second back from Jason Bates by turning him into the wall coming off of the last corner. Bates then makes a move for the pits to repair that damage, but instead he runs into the end of the wall. Tough break for Jason Bates. I have really no idea what Lance Andrews, a 20-year veteran of the TM Master Cup Series, was doing there. And here is your running order on lap 10 of 45. Lucas Sweeney holds the lead over Lance Andrews. Then it is Alex Carson, Sweeney's teammate, at a very distant third. Amy Harrison in the 102 is a lap down. Kurt Walker is in 4th, Bruce Wilkinson 5th, Todd Stater in 6th, Scott Morales runs 7th, then it is Harry Enola in 8th, James West 9th, Allie Riggs 10th, then Shane Lake and Anthony Griffith battling for 11th. Here is Namimura back out on the track, and she holds up Lucas Sweeney, the leader, and gets turned into the wall coming into the boot. This would allow Lance Andrews to catch up to Lucas Sweeney and get by him on the outside. By the way, Lance Andrews happens to be Namimura's part-time teammate at Kurt Walker Motorsports, so ARLA officials started investigating their radio communications to see if any team orders were possibly used. A little while later, Lance Andrews is going to get into Amy Harrison, spinning her around. This second incident would result in Andrews being called to the hauler. Coming into the boot, Shane Lake gets into Anthony Griffith, turning him into the wall. However, the field is so spread out at this point that Griffith does not lose a lot of track position. Lance Andrews still holds the lead, but he continues to run into things. This time he hits the wall coming off of the last corner. This allows Lucas Sweeney to catch up to him, but Lance Andrews is able to hold off Sweeney for about a couple more laps, and then Sweeney gets by him to retake the lead. Coming into turn 1, Allie Riggs breaks down in front of Kurt Walker. She pulls to the inside coming into the turn, then gets into Kurt Walker, spinning him off the course. Was it out of frustration, or did she lose control of her car? Well, that's what the officials wanted to know, and so they called her to the hauler. And then to further add insult to injury, Packer Carroll runs into the back of the 19, coming into the second to last corner, spinning her off the course. Not sure what Riggs was thinking. She could have moved a lot further up the track to let the 71 by.